Hello everyone, I'm Stan from Stan GBB Builds, and today I'm gonna present you the first video in my SCAR L bullpup build series. In this video I'm gonna go over the SRunion SCAR L bullpup kit that I'm using on this build, and I'm gonna go into specs and some details and modifications I had to do to install it on my SCAR L bullpup. So a little bit of history about this kit. This kit was announced in January 2016. It was released worldwide in May-June 2016. The US took around 6 months to get available due to problems with eVike. After 2 months of production of this version, they changed up one of their processes. After 2 months they started to bead blossom, so the lines wouldn't be as visible. And in the meantime they also started producing the WE SCAR H kit, the GHK G5 kit, and the AK105 kit for both the GHK and the WE. So packaging. When you get this kit you will get everything you see on this table except the white part, and it will come in this box. It's just a standard cardboard box with insulating foaming on the inside. It's glued to the wall, so it will not come loose. And next to that you will get two papers. One is 3D printed, don't get it too warm. Very decent English, also I think that's Japanese, South Korean maybe. Just the simple things: don't let it overheat, it's 3D printed, don't let it in a hot car, it will get too hot and will melt. And just if you're gonna get it in a warm environment, keep it in somewhere cooled so the plastic wouldn't melt. Next to that you will get an information sheet to how to install it. It's very graphical. There are some things you have to note in English, but it's very clear, very simple instructions on how to do it. Get the trigger in, slide it on the rail, take the pin out, push the pin in when the kit is installed, trigger link installation. If everything is right, slide up the butt pad and slide on the cheek weld in front. Simple as that. So some general specifications of this kit. The kit itself weighs around 655 grams. That's around 1.45 pounds. The total length when installed is 51 centimeters, 20 inch. The original configuration of the WE SCAR L is around 72 centimeters, that's 28 inch. So this kit shaves off around 8 inches in total. So for general build quality, this kit is fully 3D printed except the connection piece of the upper and the lower. This one is a little bit longer than the standard, and it's to accommodate the kit itself. It just made a little bit longer to fit over both ends of the kit. The print thickness of the pieces is around 0.03 millimeters. This one is one of the earlier ones, so this one isn't bead blasted, so you can see the lines very clearly. This one I've already took it to some skirms, so there is wear on it, but that gives the gun personality in my mind. You can see the lines very clearly running along these. On the back you can see the print. This is the base for the print, so you can see it's fully filled. The walls are around 3 millimeters thick. I've had to remove this front piece to accommodate my rail extension. If you don't have a rail extension, this will be full and will touch the end of the rail, so it's only to be removed when you install a rail extension. It is hard to do. You have to get a good knife and maybe a Dremel to remove that. It's very good in that regard. So yeah. So modifications that I've done and some things I want to go over in regards to upgrades that are already installed in your gun, maybe, and that are one, as I mentioned, this piece in front. I had to remove it because when you get it, this will be walled off, and it's made for just a standard SCAR L. So if you want a rail extension, you will have to remove this part, but when you do it, it just slides over the rail and goes as far as you want it to. As for the big piece, because I'm running a HPA hose, I've drilled a hole, I think. Well, when the lighting isn't as good, so I've drilled a hole in the back of the original hole to attach everything to accommodate my air hose. Why did I have done it that way? Because I didn't want an extra hole in the back sticking out. I just wanted one clean hole. There was already one present to screw the kit in, so I've reused that hole to fit my air hose. Very easy, very clean, and it will not solder up the air hose. So the biggest part of the modification I had to do for my installation is this block. This block is a trigger link. It's part of the trigger assembly. So if you install this, this is your trigger bars to your connector. They just pop into the upper case like this. Very simple. They slide back and forwards, just like the most bullpup kits. And this kit goes into the trigger guard against the original trigger, like this. It slides in and it's in place. This thing, provided, works very well with the standard WE SCAR trigger, but there's a problem that I found. If you use this piece with a Ratec steel upgrade trigger, you're gonna have problems. Why? The original trigger is pretty flat. It isn't as curved as the Ratec triggers that are provided in most aftermarket shops. What's the problem? This is the trigger. When you cock the hammer and you engage your trigger on the kit, this trigger piece will connect onto trigger, but the contact point will be very high. That's kind of the problem, because the trigger is sort of a lever. The higher up you go to try to pull your trigger, the more force you need. And I found out this kit with the Ratec trigger will require a damn lot of force to pull. Sometimes it's even impossible to even pull your own trigger. So what did I do? At first I wound up just shaving off bits and pieces, but there were some problems. Even then, the force that was required was way too much, and I've ended up buying a TSC trigger, but I got problems with my safety and so forth and so on. And I ended up asking a friend some things about it, and he said try making a 3D model and I will print it. And I've started to try, and I've ended up with this thing. It has some iterations. I will link in the description to this piece. What does it do? To say it easy, it just, instead of the contact points below here, I've raised the contact points way lower. This is the correct orientation for them. They sit up like this. So instead of a high contact point, the contact point is more in the middle of the trigger, where your actual finger would be when you pull the trigger. So if I insert it in this one, even then, instead of high up like the other one, it's just in the middle. Simple as that. I found it to work very well it shortened my trigger pull a little bit, not much. This kit has a very short trigger pull and reset, so that's a big pro if you want some reaction time on this. So in retrospect, would I recommend this kit? Yes. Is it possible to use on AG? Yes, I've seen people do it, but it's only possible when you're using an HPA kit. To the people that ask, can you just put a regular AG in it? No, you can't. Again, it's not possible due to the motor, mostly, to install this kit. If you want to, the motor would have go through this and would stick out this much. So that's kind of a problem. No, they're not gonna make an AG version, and by this time I know they are working on an M4 version, but I have no clue how they're gonna pull that off due to the buffer tube and etc. Even if you don't use an AG, just for gbbr, yes, use it. It's a very good kit. It's very well printed. It's worth the price. Yeah. So if you like this video, give a like, thumbs up, and subscribe if you want. Go take a look at my Facebook page, Stan GBB Builds. I'm trying to post more often on this, but I'm still a high school student. I will have times I'm not posting as much due to tasks and other things I have to do for school. So bye everyone.